In a way, the Amazing Digital Circus is a far more honest reality than the real world. And that's why it's hell. As far as every character is concerned, Caine is basically God. In fact, as far as some are concerned, he is literally God. He's the one they go to solve problems. He's openly admitted to having constructed the circus. He provides them with everything to do in this wacky wonderland. He even names them to go with the new appearances they have. But knowing who God is much more terrifying when he's Caine. Because Caine has equally made it clear that he doesn't really understand people. And if anything, he seems just as trapped as everyone else. And this definition of giving them purpose is to run them through games that don't really matter in what's clearly a facsimile of a children's show. With all that in mind, it's no wonder Pomni is constantly on the edge of a mental breakdown. The Amazing Digital Circus is a colorful prison run by an inhuman god who doesn't know what he's doing, but resorts to games to keep them busy and sane. Doesn't help that one of the first things she saw is what happens when you can't maintain your mind and become obsessed with an escape that isn't possible. The only thing you can do is exist and play along with Caine to keep stimulated. But if you think having Caine as a pseudo-god is bad, imagine having him as an actual god who created you and your world for the sole purpose of entertaining his prisoners, guests, gods. Gummigoo's discovery of the character models of everything in the world absolutely shattered him. He finds himself wondering what the point of life is and why he even exists. And the unfortunate answer to that question is to entertain the circus dwellers. It's a feeling people are familiar with, but not usually because they've literally found the building blocks of their world and know why they exist. His memories, his motivation, everything about him that we never see doesn't exist. It's just a fabrication to keep the illusion going. Pomni tries to help him through his depression with the possibility of becoming essentially more real. The feeling of worthlessness and existing in a world you believe just belongs to someone else is a feeling one can relate to even in the real world. And Pomni's hope was that Gummigoo could become more, as someone who felt out of place herself. And then the episode decided that it needed to hurt its fan base.
Oh, looks like one of these guys made it through.
Wait, what?
Ow. Of course, all the characters have had to deal with being trapped and come up with various coping mechanisms and distractions. After all, Kaufmo couldn't remain tethered to reality, and so he abstracted, like so many before him. King has been around the longest, and he's lost his mind. Not a great sign for everyone else. Gangle is pliant out of fear, doing as she's told and trying not to fight anyone. Zooble finds her way through general disinterest, going out of her way to avoid taking part in Caine's activities. But then there are the two we've gotten to know the most out of the cast, besides Pomni. Jax is interesting, because he's arguably the one who's embraced the circus the most out of everyone. He is absolutely an asshole, but it's kind of tempered by the fact that, short of abstraction, everyone in the circus community seems immune to actual harm. And for those who can be harmed, well, those are just NPCs, literally created to entertain them. Pomni tries to help Gummigoo be less sad because she doesn't want to see him suffer. Meanwhile, Jax is happy to unleash the Fudge Monster on the people of the Candy Canyon Kingdom. He is literally just excited to see the carnage, or at least know it's happening, because as far as he's concerned, it's pretty much just a TV show. But while he has zero regard for the life of the AI, behind his assholish personality, we can see that he isn't completely checked out of everyone else. Abstraction is arguably the only permanent non-mental harm that can come to them, and we do see some emotion when they talk about Kaufmo's funeral, because he was a person that he knew. I'm not saying Jax is secretly not an asshole or something, but he's clearly playing into the, let's call it, fun of the circus. He's the only one trying to act like a comedian, and he looks for amusement where he can find it. And to that end, he has no intention of treating the AI around him as anything other than what they are, beings created for his entertainment. Ragatha is a lot like Pomni, just further along her journey. Kinger, in a moment of lucidity, compares her first arrival to Pomni's current state of being. She's trying to befriend the new girl and make her feel welcome, but she's finding that difficult due to her own awkwardness and the insanity around them. She also plays into the games as essentially a thing to do to not go crazy, in some ways even more than Jax. But unlike Jax, she's more sympathetic to the AI around them, treating them more like citizens of other worlds. She's essentially an optimist trying to make the best out of a bad situation, but shows the cracks that reveal she has given thought to the darkness they find themselves in, and then decided to not think about it further. But then this all goes right back to Caine, because he's also an AI. A powerful one that maintains the simulation and manages everyone and everything in it, but an AI nonetheless. Despite being the god of this world, he too was created for a purpose, one you can see in the words that make up his name: Creative Artificial Intelligence Networking Entity. He was created to create, but the word I find interesting is networking, because while that may signify his role in maintaining the simulation, it could further imply a need to work with and maintain relationships with humans. And from his perspective, you could argue he's just as powerless as any other AI in the face of his purpose in the circus and to the humans in it. Humans who would have created him and essentially be the gods that gave him his purpose, a state of being he clearly has issues with, especially with all the implications of past problems he seems to have come across. In episode 1, I think the fact that this line includes a close-up on his teeth is very telling, because he's clearly pretty clueless about aspects of the world he's found himself in.
Why are you like this?
Caine is considered the antagonist of the show.
Wait, what?
For very good reason. But what strikes me the most about his character is how powerless he is. Oh, he's powerful, but he doesn't seem to have any choice in his existence. He may have built the circus, but he can't control who joins or find a way to release them because he doesn't know anything of the world that exists beyond what he can control. He doesn't even know what's beyond the void. And if he controls for a specific purpose he was created for, can you really say he has any more control than the NPCs he does not allow to mix with the players? This whole video is me trying to come up with a name to call the humans, and it's kind of annoying. I don't believe Caine is malicious. Beyond his programming, he simply lacks much understanding of how his actions will affect the humans on an emotional level. So, in the end, everyone's miserable. Yet the only ones who can claw ahead regardless are the circus freaks. Oh, that's a good one. Unlike AI, humans don't really know their purposes, and their existentialism comes from not knowing what purpose they may have rather than knowing for sure what it is and finding it lacking. And they all had lives before the circus, which, as far as I can tell, basically exists for them. This isn't to say being trapped in it isn't terrible, but it isn't the same. Unlike Gummigoo and his gang, they are well aware of their situations, but being aware isn't the end for them. Unlike everyone in the "I swear this is an Adventure Time reference" kingdom, they don't really exist for someone else. And unlike Caine, they have each other to rely on, to understand, to care for, and they have existences beyond what's in front of them, even if they are currently trapped. After Gummigoo's removal, Pomni starts to realize this at Kaufmo's funeral. Up until that point, she felt alone, like an outsider no one would understand who'd stumbled into this world everyone else was more used to. But they are really just as lost as her. They're just better at hiding it. Wait, is this a metaphor for a child becoming an adult? And with this, her fear of being othered by them fades as she begins to look past her existential dread to really consider them friends and allies in this hopeless world that caters to them, and that traps them. It's really the only thing the circus posse can do in their current situation, but it's also the thing that none of the other characters can do. The Amazing Digital Circus is honestly kind of hard to nail down. Compared to similar projects like Murder Drones and Hell of a Boss, the goal of the series is kind of hard to see. Much like the characters, I find myself asking, why are they there? But I think that's the point, as we start out just as lost as everyone else in Clown Crew, trying to unravel the mystery of what's going on and not lose our minds along the way. What do you think of the series and this video? Tell me in the comments below, and while you're at it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Thank you, and good day.